The news of 3,000 Israeli soldiers killed in Iran's latest joint attack has not only shocked observers across the Middle East, but also raised pressing questions about the mechanics, strategy, and consequences of such a military operation. At first glance, the sheer scale of casualties makes this one of the most significant single-day losses for Israel in decades, and it immediately brings into focus the operational capacity of Iran and its regional allies. For a military analyst or even a casual viewer, what stands out is how carefully orchestrated this joint offensive appears to be, blending layers of coordination, weaponry, and timing to maximize both damage and psychological impact. To understand how this unfolded, one needs to break down the technical and tactical aspects while also appreciating the broader regional implications that accompany such an unprecedented blow to Israel's defense forces. The first major element that needs attention is the scale of the attack itself. For 3,000 trained soldiers to fall in one strike suggests that the offensive targeted concentrated formations or bases rather than scattered units. This is a hallmark of modern warfare, where intelligence gathering, satellite imaging, and on-the-ground reconnaissance play a decisive role. Iran, with its extensive surveillance networks and the support of its allies, has invested heavily in real-time data collection, and this attack seems to reflect the payoff of that effort, whether through drones, cyber infiltration, or human intelligence. The precision required to pinpoint such a vulnerable cluster of Israeli soldiers highlights a sophisticated intelligence-sharing mechanism across Iran's joint operation partners. From a technical perspective, the weapons used likely combine both traditional ballistic missile systems and advanced drone technology. Iran has developed a reputation for producing cost-effective yet powerful unmanned aerial vehicles capable of striking targets with high accuracy. When deployed in swarms, drones overwhelm air defenses, distracting interception systems and creating openings for larger, more destructive missile payloads. The reported outcome of this attack fits into that strategy, suggesting that the Israeli defense shield, including Iron Dome and David Sling, may have been saturated beyond capacity. This weakness is significant because it undercuts one of Israel's strongest selling points to its citizens and allies: the promise of an impenetrable air defense umbrella. Equally important is the operational performance of Iran's regional allies in this joint mission. Groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Iraq, and possibly even factions in Syria likely played supporting roles. Their contribution could have ranged from launching parallel strikes to confuse Israeli radar, to jamming communication networks, to applying ground pressure that divided the attention of Israeli command. This distributed attack structure is a design feature that turns the regional landscape into a layered battlefield where Israel cannot focus its defenses in one direction. Instead, it must confront threats from multiple axes simultaneously, stretching its resources thinner than ever before. For the average observer, it is worth noting how these technical and tactical features translate into the human cost. Soldiers are not just numbers. They represent highly trained individuals, many of whom specialize in areas such as cyber operations, intelligence, engineering, and special forces. The sudden loss of 3,000 means a gaping hole in Israel's military architecture. Training replacements for such skilled personnel will take years, and the psychological blow to the Israeli Defense Forces is arguably as devastating as the material loss. The IDF prides itself on maintaining a technological edge and projecting invulnerability. But the attack challenges that perception at its core. The design of this operation also speaks to the symbolic dimension of warfare. Iran and its allies clearly wanted to demonstrate that no matter how advanced Israel's military systems may be, they are not beyond reach. The joint nature of the strike amplifies this message by showing that Iran is not acting in isolation, but rather as the centerpiece of a regional network willing to pool resources against a common adversary. This creates a multiplier effect. The credibility of Iran's deterrent increases not only because of its own arsenal, but because it can mobilize a constellation of forces to act in unison. Analyzing the performance aspects, the synchronization required to carry out a multi-front assault at this scale cannot be overstated. Coordination across multiple countries and groups, each with their own chain of command, logistics, and technical systems, is incredibly complex. Successful execution signals that Iran has reached a new level of command and control capability. Secure communication channels, possibly encrypted systems, resistant to Israeli interception, would have been necessary to prevent leaks and maintain surprise. The fact that the IDF was seemingly caught off guard suggests that Iranian planners were able to mask their preparations with extraordinary effectiveness. For the broader audience, one of the unique selling points of this joint operation is its demonstration of asymmetric warfare at a new scale. Israel has traditionally been seen as the technologically superior power in the region, capable of striking at will and defending against most counter. However, this event illustrates that carefully planned, cost-efficient strategies can neutralize even the most advanced defense systems. A swarm of relatively inexpensive drones combined with targeted ballistic strikes can achieve results that once seemed impossible, delivering disproportionate damage relative to the investment required. This shifts the balance of deterrence, proving that sheer technological superiority does not guarantee immunity. On the geopolitical stage, the implications are equally profound. Israel's allies, particularly the United States, will have to reassess their security commitments. If Iran and its partners can inflict such losses, what does that mean for American bases in the region or the ability of smaller allied states like the UAE and Bahrain to defend themselves? The attack raises the stakes for everyone, making it clear that a regional war could spiral into something much larger. If these patterns of escalation continue unchecked, for Iran, this becomes a form of soft power as well, bolstering its image domestically and among sympathetic populations across the Middle East, who see the attack as a blow against Israeli dominance. Another notable feature is the psychological warfare embedded in the operation. The sheer number of casualties will likely fuel anxiety within Israel, potentially shaking public confidence in the government and military leadership. Morale is a crucial but often underestimated component of warfare, and this strike was designed to exploit that vulnerability. The fact that the attack was joint also means that Israel cannot simply retaliate against one country without risking a wider conflict, adding a layer of strategic paralysis to the psychological shock. Looking at the future, this event will force a transformation in Israel's defense doctrine. It can no longer rely solely on interception systems like Iron Dome. It must innovate new approaches to counter drone swarms, diversify its defensive strategies, and expand its intelligence capabilities to anticipate multi-axis attacks. Likewise, Iran and its partners may see this as a successful proof of concept, encouraging them to repeat or escalate such operations in the future. In terms of storytelling for viewers, the drama of this event lies in its mixture of high-tech warfare and old-fashioned coalition strategy. It demonstrates how 21st century conflicts are not just about who has the most advanced fighter jets or missile systems, but about who can coordinate, innovate, and surprise their adversary. For Iran and its allies, the unique selling point of this operation is the way it combined relatively low-cost systems with highly well coordination to achieve an outsized effect. For Israel, the key takeaway is the vulnerability that comes with over-reliance on perceived technological superiority. When unpacked, layer by layer, the attack that resulted in the deaths of 3,000 Israeli soldiers is not just a shocking statistic, but a blueprint for the future of warfare in the region. It highlights the growing effectiveness of asymmetric strategies, the increasing importance of coalition-based operations, and the critical role of intelligence in modern combat. It challenges assumptions about invulnerability and sets the stage for further escalations that could redraw the security architecture of the Middle East in unpredictable ways.